All right, guys, we are back with a race truck update. It's taken a little while. We've had a lot of projects going on around FASS and FASS HQ, but here it is. Let's talk about it. All right, Spencer, so engine's in. Where are we at on this thing?
Ethan.
Trying to work around Ethen. Ethen, what are you doing?
We'll try harder,
He's
okay?
in my way.
I'm doing very crucial wiring right now, Jake.
What was the question?
What's the status? What are we doing here?
Right now we're just bolting everything up to it so we can hopefully start it in the next day or two.
Now the plan is to get it running and driving by UCC Florida Truck Meet, which is coming up in like 5 minutes, but probably not competing quite yet.
No, not going to compete, but it will hopefully at least drive in.
We'll make truck noises when we are finished.
Now, if can we get you like Vanna White style, explain the turbo setup for people that haven't seen it yet?
Well, I've never seen Vanna White, so I'll do my best. So that is a 106 millimeter. These are all GT 55s, 106 and then 288s.
And the fuel setup on it is?
Well, they're the same 850s that were in it. Whenever we sent them back for the high pressure update and the nozzle change for the new pistons, they did some new measurement, so they make a lot of power.
And what's the deal on the new pistons? Because the engine was like on the dyno and it made good power, made like 21 something, and then it came back out, came apart, new pistons. What happened?
So we had on the dyno, we kept blowing the head gasket due to the head studs that we had. There's not enough clamping force, so we had to go to a larger head stud. They're L9 or something from Kenny pulling apart, but they have a lot more clamping force. But while we were in there, we decided to go to a large bowl piston. And what that does is give you a more efficient, complete burn than, say, the small bowls. So we were in there and wanted to just throw them in there, try them out.
And what, if you can walk us through it, what's the rear suspension setup looking like now?
So we just have a traditional 4-link that you'd find on a drag car. Wishbone instead of the track bar. Obviously the Spider Track axles, tube work, billet third member. All chromoly, all tied into the frame and very sturdy. Willwood brakes.
Now, obviously, this truck has been a long time coming. It's been under construction for like 2 years. What were some of the bigger unforeseen challenges of getting this truck put together in its current condition?
The two biggest things were getting parts during the time that we decided to start building it. That's when like COVID hit and parts were just they still are extremely hard to get, but we finally got to the point of having a running engine, and then the other thing was just time. You know, this isn't necessarily our job. It's just more of a on the side thing for the company.
Now the big loaded question, do you have a date in mind for competition with this truck? Obviously it's a race truck, but we're not racing it yet.
I mean, after we get it running this week and moving around, there's just a bunch of little things, so month or so, 2 months.
Okay. And then last question, obviously it's kind of the full kitchen sink setup, 2,000 plus horsepower, fully built. It's a 47, fully built 47 transmission from Randy's. Is there any major gaps in the setup right now? Anything that you want to change going forward?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we've used all the top of line parts that we can, and I think we're in a pretty good spot. Okay. We still do have a new power plant coming, but
we'll talk about that one.
That'll be a little bit.
All right, cool. I'll step outside for a second because the music and the tools are a little bit loud in there. So to be clear, this is the prep to get the race truck ready for Ultimate Callout Challenge and Florida Truck Meet 2022. Unfortunately, it's not going to be running those events. Hopefully it'll be running at those events, but it's not going to run any type of competition. Obviously, Florida Truck Meet is more of a show, less of a competition, but that truck could probably do a pretty nasty burnout once it's running, right? And maybe next year. For now, we're really hoping to get it together, have the triple turbos on it, have it fully functional to display at the shows. We had it at Ultimate Callout Challenge last year in 2021. We also had it at the former Daytona truck meet. It's a great piece, it shows really well, but we want to get it functioning. That's the point. All this work and effort, time, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of hours. The point is to race it, so we're trying to get it race ready.
Yeah.
How's it going, Spencer?
It's going pretty great.
You happy under there?
I'm a lot happier now that I cleaned it.
Is that your safe space?
Yeah.
This is our Bluetooth jack stand.
I'm getting ready to take a nap.
Ethen, do you have any extra thoughts for us today? We tried to get you on camera earlier and you weren't feeling it.
Well,
You want me to tickle your leg?
Spencer's currently tickling my left leg, and I'm gonna be a little upset if the truck doesn't start, but we will also have a pizza party if it does start, so.
Hey,
What?
I was looking at you guys.
So, if the truck does start, it'll be pepperoni pizzas for everyone.
What if it doesn't start?
I'm probably gonna need to look in the classifieds for a new possible job.
So they just discovered that the old, the stack plate weighs about 4,000 pounds.
Yeah, I have a 3-year-old at home and she doesn't weigh this much, so this has gotta go.
Well, I guess to be fair, it also had like a 4,000 watt stereo in it.
To be fair.
Pretty necessary.
I mean, if you want to be cool and fast.
Big cup holders, good radio. Still got 15,000 miles.
It still had, air conditioning in it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Not no mo.
It was all hands on deck, so we didn't get it on camera, but the bed is on after a long time. And what are you doing under there, Ethen?
I'm wiring up some fuel pump wiring for our competition series fuel pump.
Oh, that was nice. You know, I think you've got a future as a, maybe a FASS Fuel Systems display model. Can you do that again?
Our competition series. Come on down.
So guys, you can see the bed is on officially. Now, again, we're in the middle of a wrap, so obviously the taillights are missing. And we removed a bunch of the old pieces. Well, I say we, Ethen and Spencer removed them, so that's where the old stack went. This is where we had some batteries and nitrous bottles and all that. Obviously that's gone, but conveniently, the opening is perfect for the new dual battery mount, which is obviously underneath the bed. And then this is the fuel cell, which Spencer is working on that. Ethen's obviously under the truck, getting it wired, getting it plumbed. Once this is done, once this fuel cell is in and we're good to go, the next step, don't look at the interior, it's kind of a mess right now. That will be the first, or one of the first fires. So we don't know if we're gonna get the first fire on camera because there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens with a truck like this when you fire it for the first time. So we're gonna try, we talked to Spencer, he's over there somewhere. We're gonna try to get the first fire on camera. May or may not happen. What might end up happening is that they fire it up once they get everything wired, and then we come in after the fact, after all this is done, and catch the second, third, fourth, fifth fire, who knows. But hopefully the next video that you see, which hopefully will be soon, like I said, we love bringing you content on this, but hasn't been a whole lot to say as of late because it's just been such a labor-intensive project to even get it to this point, and there really wasn't a whole lot of like video content in that process, but we're kind of getting to the point now where we can start to show you the truck and hopefully show you the cool stuff, like starting it, running it, driving it, racing it. Stay tuned. So we'll go ahead and show you the interior, so don't mind the mess. It's mid-construction. Obviously we've got the PRP seats, these are Echoes. It's a manual valve body, just really, really cool mount. And then the battery kill switch, which Ethen wired up, it's just a cool piece. It's really, really neat. And then this whole monstrosity here, a lot of the guys that race that watch this will know exactly what we're looking at. This was all wired by Ethen, so this is what's going to allow us to run all the components, run the truck, race the truck, data log, do all that good stuff that you want to do when you're trying to actually be competitive with a vehicle like this. Also, for anyone wondering, the hostels that are on this, the hostel wheels that are on this right now, that's not what this truck will be racing on. They look cool, but that's a street setup. And this truck is not gonna end up on the street, let's be clear about that. There is a set of slicks and some race wheels, Mickey Thompson's, that will end up on the truck eventually, but for now, because it is being set up to go literally just to shows, we're gonna leave the street setup on it. They're polished, they're forged, they look really good. They're dirty right now, but that's just the show setup. That's not staying on the truck. Now while these guys are setting up the fuel system, let's take a look at a truck you guys might not have seen for a long time. Some of you may never have seen it at all. Check this out. This is Spencer's 4th gen dually. Just a few years ago, this thing was an absolute monster that he wasn't afraid to beat on, and it got pulled apart, long story, and it's finally getting put back together. I don't know if those nitrous bottles are intended for the 4th gen or not, but you can see the beginnings of a pretty healthy 6.7 build. It's gonna be a compound 6.7, probably about 800 horsepower. He doesn't have crazy plans for it, but you know, we all know how that goes. Again, it is a dually. It's gonna run super singles up front. I don't think these are the wheels. He's working on getting the suspension set up. The interior is completely gutted. There's like nothing to show you in there. It's just empty, but it's a really clean truck overall, and the frame is brand new, or at least newly finished. It just got completely coated. That's why it looks so perfect. And you can see he's got the airbags in the back, and this is gonna be a tow pig. Now, Spencer has a few trucks running around here. We don't know if this dually is gonna end up towing the race truck. It wouldn't surprise me, but most likely the race truck might have its own dedicated tow vehicle. And this 4th gen dually might go back to serving dual purpose tow pig and daily driver, but it's a really cool build and we're really excited to see it come back. And last but not least, if we're looking at all the trucks anyway, we'll take a quick look at Spencer's 4th gen. A lot of you might be familiar with this truck from Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Now we'll do a full build breakdown later. We're not gonna do that today. But let's take a quick look at it because it's had a few changes since some of you might have seen it on social media last. So obviously it's got the 26ers on it still. We have a feeling those will be gone soon. Right now it does have an 88mm turbo, still a single turbo, big old air filter. He just got that put in, 350% over injectors in there. And then it's really a similar setup to how some of you might have seen it on TikTok or Instagram. Obviously the wastegate dump out the fender. A lot of people are kind of split on the stance truck, the wide truck look, and we get that. But the cool thing about this one, like we said before, is yes, it's a show truck. Yes, it's very pretty and it's very polished and finished. But this truck makes more than a lot of like dedicated race vehicles. So on the street with full air conditioning, heated seats, it's rowdy. I mean, it is a truly scary truck to ride in, but we'll have a full build breakdown on that soon. And you know, we couldn't end the video without taking a look at the FASS system. So you can see the beds on, sitting there nice and pretty, and that's gonna be plenty of fuel out of that single system for this monster. Now, whether they decide to run this engine with the triples or, like Spencer mentioned, go to the new power plant, which is coming eventually, that will be the same fuel system. Like Spencer said, the cool thing about the competition series fuel system is that it cuts down on weight because you only have to run one fuel system as opposed to some setups where you might have to run multiple fuel systems to feed an engine, and you're only running one set of lines, all that, so the installation is a lot simpler. You reduce weight, which on a vehicle like this matters. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully the next one will be coming at you really soon, in like a matter of days, weeks, not months, because this thing is hitting the track soon.